Hi, I'm Tavon. All right, so positively me because it's the only way I know how to be, it happens. My story starts with an 18-year-old me. I used to work downtown, believe it or not, changing trash. I changed a trash bag and I went to give it a little bit of hip, and a needle stuck me in my thigh. So I am the accidental case. 2008 of August 8th, believe it or not, I was diagnosed with HIV. So who do I get mad at? I wasn't born with it. I didn't do anything to get it. So I was like, God, it's your fault, because So yeah, I went through my depression and I went through all these different phases, but the most thing I believe that stood out for me was my visit at Hopkins. There was this very old, I guess it was the psychiatrist that I met. He wanted to beat around the bush instead of just talking about it. I already knew what he wanted to talk about. And he's like, Mr. Vinson, I hear you run track. I used to run track. And I'm like, what year and what sandals did you run track in? Now, I was younger and attitudey, so positively me, hey. So, that always stuck up in my mind. As I got older and I became this thing called an activist, whatever that is, and I started disclosing my story, all I had was just an experience. And then I started learning more about the virus itself and what I can do to help others. And I remember, I need to be that person that goes in there to talk to the youth, because I don't want them to have that experience I had with this doctor talking about track when he's like 80 and he's probably negative. I don't feel like I can connect with you, So as the years went on, somehow Hopkins said, hey, that's Mr. Tavon, let's send him to these counseling sessions and get these trainings. And somehow I worked my way up through these systems. And I've always said I just want to work with positive youth. I still can't tell you how I've gotten where I am now. Today I am a split position at Johns Hopkins in infectious disease and research, and I'm the outreach specialist in Moore Clinic for the ACE team. But now I'm the person that goes in to talk to the newly infected. And I don't like to cut around. I like to tell you direct, because I feel like that you should be. You need someone, and I can identify with you. And they'll tell you I play no cards when they're like, and it's so funny because the doctor physician goes in there like, oh, and and how are you feeling? Are you all right? And I'm like, child, you about to be mad as hell. You about to be angry, and now you're trying to think who did it. And that little billboard that says 5 out of 4. Yes, you. Yeah. Don't watch Rent. Don't watch Gia. They will make you sad. Don't do it already. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. Look at me. I like to bring positively me into the spectrum because I don't like to dwell on things. I just don't feel like we should. I feel like when things happen to us, we're so easy, and it's so much easier to get depressed and dwell and cry, which you should. But at some point, lift out of that animosity. Be a phoenix. Come out of the ashes, I have a very dark sense of humor, so that helps me. If a lot of my patients, I teach them to make dark, censored jokes. So even today, I'm like, hey, happy, you got that stuff, right? And when my person's like negative, I'm like, no, positive. That's what we are. That's us. And it's something about humor and the way we present ourselves. It can change and mobilize stigma in a whole different realm. If you go into a room and you're like, we're going to talk about HIV. This is what people think HIV is. This is how we're going to talk about HIV. This is what it is. No, let's talk about HIV and disclosure. That's what we do. And then people rise and like, oh wow, you're happy. I look back on 18-year-old me, and people ask, do you regret this needle prick? I honestly don't. I wasn't even thinking of HIV and the things I could be doing. And starting my career at the age of 24, I wasn't even thinking of that. And I feel like this had to happen for a reason. And I love your little, and I'm going to have to memorize that because I'm going to use that now. So if it's not copyrighted and you can't sue me, I'm taking it. Ah, darn. And finally, my Positively Me stanza always completes with my book, Positively Me, where I always end with my tagline, HIV, we're living fabulously with it. You have to add that fabulously on the end of it because people have to understand where it's coming from, your diaphragm. So it's fabulously living with HIV. Thank you.